Today, we're thrilled to welcome Muhammad Ali Jamshed, an accomplished technical consultant, research fellow, and KE associate at the University of Glasgow.
In our field, people try to avoid talking about that topic because it's more like the radiations that emits from your cell phone and how you can control it. Does it have any impact on the human body? Because the signals that emit from your cell phone are wireless. They are uncontrollable.
Since joining the university in 2021, Muhammad Ali Jamshed has been recognized by the Royal Academy of Engineering under the Exceptional Talent category.
With specialization in wireless comm, so I'm more like a wireless comm engineer.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our another exciting episode of Zengit, where you guys are already aware that with every episode, we already have a brilliant mind with us who is ready to share his acknowledgements, his achievements throughout all their life. And you are aware about our agenda. We are committed to connect bright minds with bright futures. So as usual, I have my co-host with me, Rida. And today we are going to host a very creative and very, you can say, intelligent mind. He belongs to electrical engineering department. If I talk about the engineering category, so we have Dr. Muhammad Ali Jamshed with us as our podcast guest. He's the PhD in electrical electronics. He has a list of achievements that I would not do justice if I just explain it to you guys. So everybody, please welcome Dr. Ali Jamshed. Hello, Dr. Ali. How are you doing, Dr. Ali?
I'm good.
Great. So I
want to add over here that we were just talking about it even before that with these sort of achievements and, seeing his profile, one would say that maybe someone with the get-up of Newton must be sitting there. But, I'm in the sheer shock that someone as young as him has achieved so much in life. And, you were an inspiration to the youth out there that age is just a number. You can do wonders in life.
Yeah. So everybody would get the same feeling as soon as Dr. Ali introduces himself. So Dr. Ali, over to you. Please let us know about all of your achievements. You have a very good history background. So I would like to hear it from you.
So yeah, thanks. I will just try to be as concise as possible. So I'm basically from Rawalpindi, Pakistan. So where I did my basic education. My early education was from Station School number 2. I think it's on the Mall Road. Then I went to college, Zengit College, not the Mall Road one, but on the Tipu Road one. So then I got admission at Comsat University, where I did my bachelor's in electrical engineering with specialization in telecom. Then I started my first job in a subcon, which is a part of which we were responsible for providing IT support to PDCL. So I worked there for almost 1.5 years. Then I switched to PDCL itself, Pakistan Telecommunication Company, as a management associate. So I worked in the International Gateway department there. Then I was doing my master's from Institute of Space Technology, the SPARCO one, there in Islamabad. So I was doing my master's there. At the same time, I was doing these two jobs in the evening. So, but after PDCL, because it was like 1-year contract, then, I continued working towards my master's from IST with specialization in wireless comm. So I'm more like a wireless comm engineer. It's a very complicated thing. Electrical is a different field, electronics is different. So, but they just come under, everything comes under the bigger umbrella of electrical and electronics. So I mostly focus on the wireless communication side. And again, going into detail, so there are a lot of layers. So I mostly work on the very lower layer, physical layer, wireless channels and these kind of stuff. So I will try to go into more detail when I talk about my PhD journey. So in 2017, I started working officially for IST. So I worked on a very interesting project with my supervisor, Dr. Mozam Maksood. He just came at, I think in 2014, he came from University of Surrey, where I did my PhD from.
Okay.
So, and again, it's a very interesting story. So because he is like one of the main reason why I was more oriented towards getting a PhD scholarship, getting a PhD admission here at University of Surrey. So he initiated a very good project there. It was like, and nowadays it's getting a lot of boom. And I was honestly, I'm I would applaud him, because at that point he raised the awareness about that. Using high altitude platforms. So which is nowadays, when we talk about the 6G and stuff, that thing is, it's getting into the industry, is getting really into high altitude platforms. So what we did, we work on the project called high altitude platforms, how we can use high altitude platforms to provide mobile connectivity, internet connectivity in remote areas of Pakistan. So this is a project I only worked for 1 year on it. The project was like about 2 years, so I only worked for 1 year. And then in 2018, I got my fully funded scholarship from University of Surrey. So, and I would say, I'm graduated from that center, which is one of the first center in Europe, like IO6GIC, that is dedicated to 5G research. So that's in the whole Europe. That was one of the first center that established, I think, in 2014. And now they are doing a lot of, they have contributed a lot towards 5G, and now the 6G stuff. So it's renamed now 6G. So I started my PhD in 2018. Then I finished my PhD in 2021. Along that, I work within University of Surrey as in a teaching and demonstrating role. I learn a lot, learn new things, because this is kind of a total, you can say, 180-degree phase shift. So it's more like, coming from a different background, and at the same, suddenly you're changing towards a new kind of thing where people do things totally in a very different way. So again, it was a very challenging thing for me, how you can adopt from that environment to this environment. So it's because they are very, honestly, they are very, very different. So even if you look from the scratch, they are totally different. You cannot imagine like how two things are, the things going in Pakistan and the things going in UK, the education sector, industry sector, everything, it's totally different. So it took me, a little while to understand those things. But in 2021, I finished my PhD. Then I got my first job in one of the startups in UK in industry, in company called Bright Yellow. So I helped them to develop their technology. 2 or 3 patents that I contributed to. One of the patents is almost they're gonna get the license for that patent. So that technology is being currently used in one of the train stations in I think in Wales. So they're currently being used. They are using that algorithm which I developed for them. So, but the company is, it's struggling a bit. So that's the other part of the story. And again, that algorithm, I think they tested that algorithm in one of the care homes settings in Spain somewhere. So that after that, I started working at the University of Glasgow as a postdoc. And honestly, so the reason why I got really interested in this project, because project was related to Pakistan, like how we can use sensor, and how we can use the you call it Internet of Things technology to combat deforestation in Pakistan. And we have got an amazing, my line manager, previous line manager, I just met him today as well. We had lunch together. So he's a very creative man, Dr. Masood Rahman. So he initiated the project, and recently we closed in this project. What we did, we come up with a very innovative technology that can be used to combat deforestation in real time, detect forest fire in real time, illegal tree logging in real time, and tree health degradation in real time. So that project was funded by HSC and the British Council here. So although that project has been ended, but we are still working on that project as a co-lead in that. He's leading another initiative and I'm a co-lead. So we are trying to improve the technology, making it battery-less so it can sustain for without any, creating electronic waste. It can sustain its life up to 25, 26 years. So we are working on that technology now. So that project we're going to start next month in July. So, but in 2023, in April, I started a new job, the role that I'm currently in at University of Glasgow. So this role, it's being a very different role. It's more like a knowledge, what we call it's knowledge exchange associate or technology specialist. I call it more like technology specialist thing. So it's more like, I'm in the middle of, it's more like a management and the industry side. I'm kind of a bridge between these two things. So yeah, it took a bit long. This is my overall journey.
That's incredible. I believe there are still so many things. So you are doing a great job. And I heard that you got inspired from one of your university professor as well. So we would definitely like to hear that story in detail. That might inspire others as well. So I can see with all of these achievements, you are also you have been editor of some books as well, which are some topics related to sensing applications and networking and related to IoT. So how did you actually manage time for that, and what actually you tried to bring in all of these areas?
So you can say, I'm more like whenever I say about technology specialist, I'm more like a person who try to read things, try to understand more about the technology, what's coming in. And nowadays we're talking about that's another thing. I'm mostly working on integrated terrestrial and non-terrestrial network. This is a book that I recently edited with one of my colleagues who is an assistant professor in South Korea in Yangon University, Dr. Lee Numan. So we together I did a book on integrated terrestrial and non-terrestrial network, like how the satellites and the UAVs and the hubs can be used in our current cellular network. So how they can be integrated to provide a connectivity, making a world, providing a connectivity everywhere without any need of cellular base stations. So because there are certain areas, if you look at the stats, there is
Mhm.
a vast area in the world that's still without simple internet connectivity. So they are not. So what the industry is currently doing, that they are trying to integrate. Maybe in 2030 we would be able to achieve this. So the standards are they're working on the standards thing. So it's not getting into the mobile phone domain. This is one of the recent book that I work on. Apart from that, my first book that I co-edited with my line manager, previous line manager, Dr. Masood Irman, it was directly related to my PhD work, the work that I did my PhD. So what I did, I converted my PhD work into a book form, and that was published by Wiley and IEEE Press. So
Mhm.
that's more a very interesting book. That's merely people try to in our field, people try to avoid talking about that topic because it's more like the radiations that emits from your cell phone and how you can
Oh.
control. Does it have any impact on the human body? Because the signals that emit from your cell phone are wireless. They are uncontrollable. They
Mm.
emit. They go everywhere. So this is the reason. This is the topic that I work in my PhD. So that was my first book. Second book that I work on is integrated terrestrial and non-terrestrial network. Third book that I co-edited again with my previous family, Dr. Masood Irman. It's on multimodal sensing, like how it's again a very different topic, but it's more like an IoT stuff. How you can use IoT and other stuff to integrate, how multimodal is, like how you can use different signals or different modes of a signal or different modes of technology, how you can integrate them together and come up with. So what, just give you one of the chapters that I wrote in that book. It's more like if you want to develop a technology or an IoT technology for a certain application, so we provide a very very brief overview of, like, if anybody wants to develop, like, just say for IoT
Mm.
technology for deforestation applications. So we provide a very brief and very, in a very layman language, we provide a guideline so they can do that. So
Oh.
that book is more about that. And one other book that I'm co-editing with one of my colleagues here, he's an assistant professor here at University of Glasgow. And so we are editing a book on sustainable IoT and the green IoT kind of stuff, like, because that's again a very, very sustainability, and it's a topic that's something we need to talk about that topic, because the aftermaths of the global warming, we can clearly see what's happening around the world, sudden change in temperature, other stuff. So that's something we and that this topic, because I also developed a workshop that's getting famous day by day. So to address this topic, and one of the other recent book that I'm about to write, and
Mm.
as I told you before, today I had a discussion with my previous line, my Dr. Masood. We're talking about now. It's a very, I will not go into details because that's more a confidentiality thing. So it's more like ambient intelligence. So it's
Mm.
more like a very new topic. So this is overall books that
Mm.
I've so far. I have 4 books. So I'm now working towards fifth.
I
Great.
think it's a very good combination working on sustainability matters. And, so I feel like these were the two things that used to go against each other, like, magnets of the same pole. But working on sustainability right in hand while being an engineer is like a huge thing. And I would say this is the first time that I'm hearing such a thing where an engineer is talking about the issues of deforestation and
Global
sustainability matters.
warming.
Usually business students would just study it, that how do we make our product sustainable, but actually making it sustainable is a different thing. And it's I mean, this is something very new to me. Yeah. Also, Dr. Ali, so you're also a fellow of the Royal Society of Arts, and you're also working in the, you're also a fellow at the Higher Education Academy UK. Can you brief us a little about these organizations, how you got into these organizations, and what do they mean to you? What value do they add to your profile?
So I will talk more about HEA, Fellow of Higher Education Academy. So that's more like it's more awarded to people who have shown made some contribution towards the teaching and helping student to build up something. So it's more like it's not just teaching a certain goal, but how you can support student in more like a way where you can see them succeeding in life, you're doing something. So that's I recently got in April. I recently got this fellowship. So this based on my work that I've done in Glasgow. I did some teaching. There's one of the college here. I support the student, I supervise their MSc thesis and PhD. I'm also co-supervising a few PhDs as well. And the teaching I did back in University of Surrey and some teaching back in IST, but not too much so. But that was mostly based on the teaching that I did and, doing demonstration within UK. So the fellowship we usually get, once you have shown a significant contribution to teaching and learning field. So the other one, the Royal Society of Arts, it's more like when you talk in the UK, there's a lot of societies, but the Royal Academy of Engineering, the Royal Society of Arts, and there's a lot of Royal Societies. So these societies, like Royal Society for Mathematics, I guess, because I'm not a mathematical person. So the Royal Society of Arts, it's more like it was founded in 1754, so it's a very old society. I think it's more than 200 years old, I guess. So more than that. Just correct me if I'm wrong. So that's I got the fellowship back in 2022. No, 2022. I became a fellow of that society. So that's more like I would say you write an application and you showcase your achievement, and then they endorse your achievements, and then they say, okay, you have done these things in the field, and we can invite you to become a fellow. And just they give you an honorary or more like they try to invite you. It's more like the thing is like back in Pakistan we have societies. So but these societies are more like very old, and they do a lot of things. Or so to become a member or fellow of these societies, it's not an easy process. You need to showcase your achievements that you've done.
Yeah.
So I would say it's a good thing that I have done something and. They endorsed my, so I'm really grateful to them to allow me to become a fellow of these two societies. Yeah. And again, I'm a senior member of IEEE as well. That's something, it's an honor. Like you need to showcase a very good amount of experience. And if you have done something to particularly into the communication.
At the end, it's your achievements only which actually leads you to be member of these high-end societies and all of these groups, and which you definitely have. So, Dr. Ali, we have heard about your publications and your contribution for all of the books that you have been part of so far. So, I would really like to know what actually like the story that you mentioned, that not the story, but you mentioned you're one of professor that he actually inspired you to pursue this degree. That's what I want to know, what exactly that was, and how it can leave a positive impact to others as well, like whoever is watching this, so how they can take benefit of that thing.
Positive Nation impacts 21 million lives around the world.
You're clear to take off.
By doing positive acts of kindness around the
Every
world.
little gesture, every heartfelt plea builds a future where every soul is free. From every corner of the earth to every single face, we're spreading kindness, leaving a loving trace. We're Positive Nation, where hope lights the way. With 7 billion people, we'll rise every day. Through positive acts of kindness, let our voices sing. We're creating a world where positivity reigns. When the road is long and the night is cold, hold on to the love, let your heart be bold. In every act of kindness, in every care.
Join us and be a part of the Positive Nation community.
We're Positive Nation, where hope lights the way.
Yeah, as I told you, it's at some point some people really inspire you because
Hmm.
when I started in my engineering journey, I was inspired by my sister. She's elder than me, so she was doing mechanical engineering at that point. So I was a bit inspired by her to pursue engineering as a degree, but I wasn't very clear like which engineering to choose. So, but she told me like you can go for this one. That something has a scope, other stuff. We had a very good discussion at that point. So when I started my MSc, I would give this credit to one of my friend who is I'm working a lot with that guy, Dr. Ali Numan from South Korea. He pursued me. He was one of the motivation behind where I started doing my masters. And then when he started my masters, and then I came across this person who was a recent in 2014, and this guy, Dr. Masood Rahman, not Masood Rahman, Dr. Moza Masood. He came from University of Surrey, a fresh PhD, a very young guy at that point, and he's old now, so, but very young at that point. So, sorry, but he's still young. Sorry.
He might mind this. We
So
can
he's
cut
like,
this part if you want.
yes. So it was a very, you can see a guy coming from UK doing a PhD from University of Surrey, and talking about the good things about Surrey, because Surrey is famous for a lot of things.
Yeah.
The space center, 560 center. They have a very good signal processing center. A lot of things they are very famous for. So he's coming from that Surrey Space Center and teaching us a course, and then I went to him. Like, okay, can I do a master's thesis under your supervision? So I did a master thesis that was funded by one of the defense industry, like NESCOM at that point. So they do a lot of work. So I work for them, develop some technology, and then I again start talking with him, like, okay, what to do next? Because I was a bit struggling with the job situation back in Pakistan. So he said, like, okay, you are a good researcher. So he gave me a start there,
Hmm.
show me like how to do research, how to write papers. So I would like to mention another person named Mr. Muhammad Farhan Khan. So he was one of my colleague back in PDCL. So he was one of the reason he showed me like how you really do research. So my first paper was with him, and then Dr. Moza Maksud, he answered my question, QD, what you need to do, and uh, he was more like an inspiration, like, okay, if he said, like, if I can do do it, so like you just need to work hard. So this is,
Hmm.
people, there's another complex thing, like, is it smart work or is it hard work? So what I would say, it's smart work is okay, but hard work never fails you. It always pays. So he just said,
Definitely.
okay, just give your 100%, just try to. So I started applying, position came in, and the good thing is, like, my co-supervisor was his co-supervisor as well. So we had
Oh,
same co-supervisor. So I would, again, it's because of my co-supervisor. My main supervisor was good. Honestly, he helped me a lot. But my co-supervisor was really, he's British, Tim Brown. So he supported me a lot. He's a gem of a person. In general, he's a very, very great human being. Honestly. So this the other thing, one other guy I would like to mention here, Dr. Osama. That he's in Canada. He did his PhD from Canada. Now he's working there in Lakehead University. So he one of the inspiration. He was doing master at that point where he inspired me. He guided me a lot. These key people they helped me to get a scholarship, and they guided me like how you can find a fully funded PhD position. What are the key things? What are the key checkpoints you need to mark?
that's so great to hear. I wish I had someone also to push me for this research work. I really hated this. I have done this MS in project management. I literally ran off from this research work because I know it's so much time demanding and so much hard work is there. And I so hated this. But yeah, that's
Honestly, just to interrupt you here, because I know there's one of my students.
hmm,
I'm literally I'm her co-supervisor. She's doing PhD from Butam's Quetta. So she's really good. She's really talented. But so she's like few of the examples that I can say. Women doing great things in back in Park. So she's working in such an environment. At the same time doing job, being a mother. Being a wife, and at the same point doing a PhD. So and the work
oh,
she does, it's really, she has recently done a very good publication as a part of this the project that I was involved in. So it's published in one of the prestigious journal, IoT journal, IEEE IoT journal, has an 10 point something impact factor. So she's really good research. So I think that's some of the examples of women back home that we have. They're doing some wonders. So I think its only thing is like if you want to do something, you can't. So these are just so you say, but you can come up with excuses not to do. But these are I've seen a lot of examples where
Hmm.
especially women they're coming up and doing a lot of great wonders.
Yeah, definitely. Time is definitely changing. And it's so great to see like everybody contributing the same way, be it men or women. But yeah. So we have covered so many things. I would really like to know, like, what was your key topic for your research? Like you have mentioned that, but what was the notable research project that you have done as part of your PhD?
So yeah, as I told you before, very briefly, the project that I did during my PhD uh, uh, it's a very people when you talk about the business side of things, people try to be a bit shy and not to
Mm,
say too much on that. So it's more like, but I think that's not a problem because the way the work I did, it's come up with very good publications. I would really want to say thanks to my supervisors there, Dr. Fabian and Dr. Tim Brown. They really helped me, you know, to, I'm today now, doing a lot of research. It's because of both of them. They showed me how to do a real research. So my project was like how you can, optimize or how you can. It's the first part was like how you can study the effect of or how you can, model the radiation that's coming from your cell phone. Like for example, when you try to make a call and
mhm.
you put your cell phone right next to your ears, and how radiation, as I told you before, it's more like because it's not like a wired medium that where you have radiations where that travel in the wire. It's more like an uncontrolled medium where we
True.
travel with a wireless channel. So the first part was like how to understand like how they interact with the human head body. Okay, and then how you can come up with the techniques to reduce that effect. So my thesis was, in my thesis, I developed some techniques and some algorithms uh, which can adopt the context of the user. Like, for example, if you're using your cell phone in talk position, like making a phone call or doing some kind of, browsing or using your cell phone for a data purpose. So, and then we come up with the help of my supervisor. I come up with a technique where we call it the coupling manipulation concept that helps you to reduce the amount of exposure that user experience during the use of their cell phone. So that again, uh, again there was some other parts that was published. So overall, if anybody wants to read about that, I would say because I published that as an published because after my PhD, it was published by Wiley and IEEE Press. So it's available online and it's more the title is low power the devices for electromagnetic exposure, something like that. Sorry, I forget the title, so it's a bit long title. So that's this book is there, and that if you want to know more about the details about the topic, so I did
Hmm.
some overcome just try to some assumptions that people have. Okay, it might get you cancer or something. That's just
Oh
all
yes,
false
I
allegation.
was hoping that
Yeah, so
question was
that's
in my
just false.
head, so I really wanted
Yeah,
to
that's
ask
just
like,
all false allegations. So it's because
hmm,
the mobile com is just there. It started in 1990, and then although the radiations are when we go back in 1800s, they are there. Since then, we have been experiencing these radiations, other things. So that's a kind of false allegation. So, but again, when we talk about the sustainability, which is the part of the 6G and other stuff as well, this is one of the key things that the researchers are really working on that. So that's again directly linked to reducing this effect. So this is
hmm.
what I try to give some reasoning of this false allegation and try to come up with technique. Okay, if the still if had some effect, use this technique to reduce it further. So we don't need to worry about. So
Can
this is
you
overall
can
what
you
my
share
thesis is
your
about.
yeah, that's that sounds really interesting and I really want to go through that. Can you share your publications link? I really want you to go through that, and I would request our listeners or whoever is watching this to go through that as well in order to spread awareness. Because there are a lot of rumors we keep on hearing from childhood, like mobile phone signal does this, does do these kind of precautions. So that would be great if we can get to know the truth behind that.
Yes. So do you want me to share that by screen or can I just put in the
You can
chat.
just share the link. Yeah, in the chat, we will just make sure like it is attached with the podcast link. And yeah, we would. And one more thing I would like to know,
I
Dr.
also
Ali.
have to add a little something over here. Dr. Ali was also nominated for the Departmental Prize for Excellence at the University of Surrey in the year
Yes.
2019 and 2020. And I believe that you were a student back then, right?
Yeah,
A PhD scholar. So what was that one USP? What was that one special thing that stood you out of the rest of the students that made you stand out there?
so I think I will give this credit back to my supervisor because they were really helpful. They were really giving me whenever I fell down. Okay, I can't do this one. This is really complicated for me. But they just came back and say, okay, no. Especially Tim Brown. Whenever I feel down, he just say, okay, no, Ali, you can do it. So that's the reason. And at that point, I was doing some other work with some other fellow researchers. So doing some other publications over the weekends, and just I think that's the two key thing: consistency and hard work. I would say that was something because honestly, I want to share. I'm not a very bright student. I never got first position in my class. I never got any position in my class. I think it's in the eighth class where I got for the first time a third position. So I'm a very average student. Even in universities, I got very average grades. Not people like who are gold medalists and other stuff. I'm not one of them, honestly. So I would really want to share this code, which I think being a electromagnetic guy, and I used to watch this the season while doing my PhD, the Big Bang Theory. So where they talk a lot about Richard Feynman. So he one of his famous quote, like he say like, okay, I wasn't a brilliant student. I'm the one person who just worked really hard. So and so this is one thing I usually believe in that quote. So I'm again the person who still am in a lot of things. Finding a job and other stuff. So I'm struggling on daily basis. So it's not like I've done my
Struggle
part.
never ends. The struggle
Yes,
never
stubborn
ends.
never ends. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
in the end, it's just your hard work. It's your commitment, your consistency. If you're consistent, if you're a hard worker, then I think nothing's gonna stop you.
Yeah, definitely. And again, I can like sense it, like you have spent all of, like you have mentioned, like weekends, you worked over the weekends and
Yes.
you have just given your 100%. Even I think more than that, you did, you gave it to all of this hard work and all. So one last thing I would really to know, so what is your future plan? Any projects that you want to initiate, any research work that you are planning to do? Like what are your goals, like which you to keep working on your
Yeah. So before answering the question, I think if I would not do much justice because during my PhD I got married as well. So I would give because that was one of the because it was
I
the
think he
end of
has already done so much in life.
sorry.
I think
another degree
you've
you
already
got.
done so much in life
Yeah, yeah.
now.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think I would give the credit to my wife as well for
Wow.
for with me, because I was doing, and again nowadays she gave me a lot of space to still continue doing my research, continuing doing work even over the weekends and supporting me and that. So that's and again, I really want to mention this because it wouldn't be I would not be doing justice with her because she very key role in achieving that so far. So coming to your question about the future, so and there are a few projects I'm being part of. So as a part of my current job role and some other projects that I'm working. So as I told you, one of the project that I'm co-leading with Dr. Masood Rahman, it's more like how sorry, it's how you can the sensing platform that we develop, how we can convert that into an efficient platform without creating any electronic waste, because that's something just want to make sure that it can achieve the sustainability at its at 100%. So this is what we are trying to do. And again, there's a few other things that I won't be able to mention because this in pipeline. So as I told you before, struggle is going on. I'm struggling and doing work on daily basis. So that means, yeah.
Dr. Ali, do you have any final thoughts or a piece of advice for your listeners out there?
Again, it depends, the where I'm coming from and where I'm now. So I would give you only one advice because I have the things that I've seen in life. This is not a one day job. You need to work on a daily basis. So what I would say, in general, being a Muslim, I would say we should believe in, destiny. So if something is written for you, it's for you. And the other thing is like, people say there's a very, very complex discussion on the hard work and the smart work. So I think two things from my point of view that really matter. It's hard work and consistency. Whatever you do, just to make sure that you do it, give you 100%, because perfection. Don't try to be perfectionist. Perfection, in my point of view, ideal is nothing. Everybody has some flaws and some gaps there. So even people who do research, there are gaps. So just try to give you 100%. Just try to be consistent and try to be hard work, because even if you go back, this is what I had in in a nutshell. If you want to know like what I have achieved so far, I would say my if you go back to Surrey, and ask my colleagues there, and I will give you sorry, my previous lineman, Dr. Masood Rahman, met one of the guys, I think in or somewhere in Europe. I have worked with that guy back in Surrey. So what he responded, he said, "Do you know Ali?" So that guy said, like, "Yes, I know. He's a very hardworking guy and a very dedicated and hardworking." So I think this is what I have achieved. Even if they won't say that he's a very he had done some brilliant stuff, but they would say he's a very hardworking and a dedicated guy.
Perfect. I think that is the best piece of advice. So many people give up, like they get, just fed up, but we should keep on trying. So that's great to hear. Like you are such an inspiration. I believe whoever is watching this podcast, they must agree that your is double your age, your hard work is double your age, all of the research work that you have done. So you are truly an example. You have inspired us a lot, like looking at your all this professional background, all of your research work. So I'm really inspired, and thank you so much for taking this time to meet with us on the platform. I really appreciate all of your dedications that you have put in, your time to have a word with us on this thing. Thank you so much, Dr. Ali. I know time is really precious for you, and it was such a nice, it was an honor to have you here. I'm really missing Jack. He must have been really glad to, have a word with you. But we will definitely connect again to explore so many other things. Once Jack sees this, he will definitely ask us to schedule one more session with you, which we will make it more creative and more, this has been really useful, motivational, but we will, go to one more extra level. So thank you, Rida, for
Yes.
your time as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Stay connected and have a great rest of your day. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Positive Nation impacts 21 million lives around the world. By doing positive acts of kindness around the
Every
world.
little gesture, every heartfelt plea builds a future where every soul is free. From every corner of the earth to every single face, we're spreading kindness, leaving a loving trace. We're Positive Nation, where hope lights the way. With 7 billion people, we'll rise every day. Through positive acts of kindness, let our voices sing. We're creating a world where positivity reigns. When the road is long and the night is cold, hold on to the love, let your heart be bold. In every act of kindness, in every care.
Join us and be a part of the Positive Nation community.
We're positive.